Welcome everyone so far. We have a minute or two before we actually start, and I'm going to try to speak loudly enough this time. I heard there was a little difficulty hearing me, so one is going back and forth between meditation and speaking. The voice may drop. So I'll try to be aware of that. Yeah, you got the signal. It's 7 here and Tuesday evening, and we're starting our guided meditation. I'll just do a brief guidance. I think that most people joining have experience with meditation. If you're inexperienced, just know that it's a nature of the body and the mind to want to move. So this is a training. This is a practice. So and we need to be gentle with ourselves when we're learning something new. And even those who have many years of experience with meditation, they still want to move their bodies and their minds. And this is just something we can observe. This is in kindness, with kindness, we observe our body and mind and care for them both with kindness. Actually, they're not separate. So we're unifying the mind-body experience by starting out by bringing attention to the body itself, and that eventually you'll be noticing the mind as well. So we can start just feeling the experience of the body in sitting position. If you're able to sit upright, ideally we sit unsupported, or backs unsupported, but that's not possible for everyone. So either sitting cross-legged on a cushion or in a chair. If you're in a chair, you might have something at the low back to keep the spine in the neutral position with a little curvature at the base of the spine. You could sit a little bit forward in the chair so you're not leaning back or slouching. But if you need support, make sure the support is such that the back has that curve, that natural curve at the low back. And in a position that's comfortable to hold for over a half an hour now. And just getting a sense of the body in whatever position you're in. If you need to lie down because of illness or back problems, and just bring a sense of alertness. It's really bringing up a sense of alertness, and maybe even a different position than you usually sleep in, so it's not triggering the sleep, desire for sleep. But sensing the body, however it's disposed, bringing up a sense of alertness and an interest. Feeling the weight of the body against whatever is supporting it. And starting with the feet, feeling the feet with whatever they're in contact with. Feeling the floor, maybe your feet inside shoes if you have shoes and socks on. Just feeling of the against the cushion or your some part of the body, the legs, like the thigh or the calf, perhaps. If you're sitting cross-legged. Just feeling the toes, the bottom of the feet, the top of the feet, the ankles, just getting into detail with the feet. Gradually bringing the awareness up over the ankles. Calves and the shins. The knees. I feel the touch of the clothing against the skin, the thighs. That warmth of the clothing or air. You have some exposed areas of your legs and feet. And again, that downward pressure, if you're sitting, of the buttocks against whatever's supporting the buttocks. And just inviting everything as you bring your attention to it, be at ease. Feeling the hips, and the abdomen. Feeling the expansion and contraction of the abdomen with the breathing. The diaphragm pushing the abdomen outwards with the breath. Expanding the lungs. The sides of the body. This gentle rhythm of the breath, this expansion and contraction. It's like a tide. Moving in and out of its own natural rhythm. You can feel it in the back, the ribs expanding or lifting with the breathing. Shoulder blades. Up to the shoulders. You need to adjust slightly as you're bringing your awareness to different areas of the body, allowing the shoulders to relax, to be neutral position at the sides of the body, the arms. Just feeling the shoulders and arms at ease. Postures alert and relaxed. Bringing the awareness down the arms, all the way down to the hands. Really inviting the hands to be at ease. No work to do. Just let go of all the tension in the hands. Maybe the touch of one hand on the other, fingers overlapping, or maybe they're touching the thighs. However the hands are, it's getting a good sense of the hands. All the way down to the fingertips. The palms of the hands. Gratitude to those hands for all the work they do. Now they can rest. Bringing the awareness upwards. Over the arms. Back up to the shoulders. Neck. Over the back of the head. Sensing the sides of the head. And top of the head. Really feeling the top of the head. And then bringing the awareness downwards over the forehead. Inviting the forehead to relax, be at ease. Between the eyes. And around the eyes. Just a sense of well-being. Eyes resting in the sockets. And in this tradition, we keep our eyes closed. Unless you're really sleepy, you might open your eyes up and look at the ceiling for a moment. But generally, eyes are kept slightly closed, not squinting. bringing the awareness inward. Just that sense of touch, the sense of body, feeling the jaws, the teeth lightly touching the upper teeth and lower teeth. And the tongue at rest in the mouth, lips, upper and lower lips, lightly touching one another. And if there's a real sense of ease, you may experience a smile. And that's wonderful. It's the secret smile, I've heard it described. The smile of the Buddha. And at this point, if you're ready, you might feel the breath moving into the nostrils. The mind is well settled. You can bring your attention to the in and out breathing at the nostrils. Or you might feel the expanding and contracting of the abdomen. This wind, movement of the air, more dynamic movement of the air with the wind. Or you might continue scanning the body downwards, feeling the legs and feet again, upwards. Whatever is supportive now to the mind settling, a sense of ease. But also sustaining awareness, alertness. And it's natural for the mind to wander, thoughts to percolate up. Just treat them with kindness, the thoughts with kindness, and just allow them to pass on their own. Bringing the awareness back to the breath, the body. And we'll continue in silence for another 20 minutes. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham Dhammam Sangham Namasami. Thank you all for joining me, and I'm going to take a sip of water in a second. It's supposed to help, but I think we coffee even more. Sorry about that. So today, or this evening rather, I believe the talk was titled Going Beyond Doubt. And the reason why I thought about talking about this subject about doubt is that we're talking about entering the stream and what supports entering the stream. And doubt, many of you probably know, is one of the samyojanas, one of the fetters. I looked up what fetter was. It's an old-fashioned term. It's like shackles, it's chains. And the Buddhist teaching is samyojanas are what bind us to samsara. This keeps us in the round of samsara. So doubt is one of those, excuse me, pesky samyojanas. And also, it's one of the 5 hindrances. Oh, sorry. Maybe allergy season that I'm experiencing. So these are 2 reasons you might want to overcome doubt. I was just picturing somebody saying, hey, why should I want to overcome doubt? I don't know if anyone who's listening would say that, but there are people that would say, well, am I just supposed to believe everything that's just in the suttas because it says that? Well, or not. I mean, we should really investigate and see and see for ourselves. This is a teaching to be experienced individually by the wise. So we have to apply our minds to these teachings and ask questions if we don't understand something. But there's a difference between investigating and intelligent questioning and just doubting. And doubting is like an uncertain, uncomfortable, maybe bringing up anxiety. It's not. It's a hindrance. And a hindrance disrupts the peace of the mind. It interferes with the calming and stilling of the mind. It blocks samadhi. It blocks wisdom. The hindrances are said to weaken wisdom. So it's one of the hindrances. It's not helpful to our development on the path. So I have a sutta that talks about the 5 hindrances right here. It says it's in the Samyutta Nikaya, and it's in the Bojjhanga Samyutta, and that the hindrances are opposed to the awakening factors as well. So there are 5 hindrances. What 5? Sensual desire, ill will, dullness and drowsiness, restlessness and remorse, and doubt. These 5 hindrances are destroyers of sight, vision, and knowledge. They block wisdom. They're on the side of anguish. They cause suffering as well. And they don't lead to extinguishment. That's a Bhante Sujata's translation of Nibbana. They don't lead to Nibbana. So So sada, I'm talking about sada, which is a lot of times translated as confidence, faith, several trust, conviction. So these are sada is one of the things that we need to develop to overcome doubt. And sada appears in a couple of places in those lists that the Buddha has, and one of the is the Panchendriyas, the five faculties, the five spiritual faculties. So it's a faculty, or it's a control. It's also translated as controlling faculty as well as spiritual faculty. So it helps with the mind. If the mind is not in control of, is not being controlled by unwholesome factors, but these are wholesome factors that help direct the mind. And so sada is the first of the five, and sada, or faith, or conviction, or confidence, I like confidence, is balanced by wisdom, or panya. So these two work together, and I have a list here of all five, and this is Bande Sujata's faculty of faith, energy, mindfulness, immersion, and wisdom. So faith, or sada, kind of gets the ball rolling. If we don't have any confidence in the teaching of the Buddha, then we're not going to pursue the path. So we have to have that sada to begin with, and it starts out by hearing the teaching. So there's a certain amount of intelligence going on there too, because we're learning, we're hearing something that sparks our interest, and also we need to think about it. We need to learn from what the Buddha is teaching us in order for us to actually even be interested in that. So, so it's the first of the spiritual faculties where they have the standard list, and it's always the first one, and it gives rise to energy. So if you have a sada, and it's based on a certain amount of understanding, and then enthusiasm comes up. So then the enthusiasm is brings up energy, and so it arises from hearing the teaching and putting them into practice and seeing the results. So we start understanding cause and effect within ourselves, and seeing how the teachings can be applied in our life. And this, so it's not a gullible sada. It's not just a gullible kind of faith that's based on charisma. Yes, some charismatic leader is giving us promises that they can't be proved, and so they're promising us some glorious future somehow, or in some wonderful realm if we just believed in what they're saying, but they can't be proved. So with the Buddhist teaching, we can put it to test. We can bring apply our minds to it and bring understanding to it. So this sada is then an antidote to doubt. So I also have that it arises from hearing the teaching, putting them into practice, and seeing the results. It also comes from seeing the members of the Sangha. So you have the example of how people are conducting their lives, and their deportment, observing how the behavior of monastic Sangha, and also people that have put in the lay community, who are putting the teaching into practice. You have the support of the lay community as well. And you can see, you see the difference with people who've been practicing and applying themselves to the teaching. So it's not gullible or naive, and based on promises, as I said, and it's not like an unquestioning dogmatic belief in something. So this is the nature of the sadha. So it develops over time. Both wisdom, all of the five faculties develop over time. And so we have the sada and the panya balancing one another, and the virya, or the energy, rising because we're applying the teaching and understanding the teaching, and so then our faith is increasing as it becomes stronger through experience and development of wisdom. Then doubt is gradually overcome, any kind of doubt that we have. And then, so the sadha continues to develop until it becomes unshakable. And this unshakable faith is a quality of someone who's entered the stream. They've completely gone beyond doubt. Any doubt in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. So this is unshakable faith. I think I have. So the sadha, this is destroyed doubt, completely destroyed any doubt. This sadha. So the confidence is developed through investigation and observation that brings about the arising of wisdom. So the wisdom faculty is developing. It's not completely developed at stream entry, but it's getting a lot of power at this point. And since confidence or faith is said to be balanced by wisdom, confidence and wisdom grow together. They're growing in tandem, in conjunction with one another. And when we start to understand the teaching through our own direct experience and observation, we feel confidence that this is true, this is the truth. We really have this confidence. Our trust is growing, we feel inspired and uplifted. And sadha is an emotional response. And as I was saying, this gives energy to pursuing the path. So we pursue the path so we can fully understand the truths. And at the point of stream entry, it says the stream enterer possesses the Four Noble Truths, so they've seen deeply enough. So this is the wisdom faculty, actually. They've seen deeply enough into the causality that in the Four Noble Truths. And so they possess it. They don't have any doubt. And it said that also they had a glimpse of nibbana. So they've seen cessation to a certain extent. So I'm going back to the idea of doubt again. The doubt is destroyed at stream entry, but I was talking about the energetic quality of sadha. And doubt, on the other hand, drains our energy. We feel confused or irritated or impatient when we're under the influence of doubt. It's not a comfortable, we're like in the dark to a certain extent, because it actually does feed ignorance. Doubt is not a wise questioning or investigation. So in the suttas, the nutriment for doubt is careless attention. So this is in the Bojjhanga Samyutta. It describes yoniso manasikara as the fuel or the nutriment of doubt. And this is from the Bojjhanga Samyutta. There are things that are grounds for doubt. This is ati bhikkhave vicikicca tanya dhamma. So vicikicca is doubt. Frequent irrational application of the mind to them. It's a tata ayoniso manasikara bahulikaro. So the frequent irrational application of the mind to these things that are grounds for doubt fuels the arising of doubt, or when it has arisen, makes it increase and grow. So this is careless attention, yoniso manasikara, or as Bhante Sujata is saying, irrational application of mind. So there's a list of things that we don't, it doesn't actually explain what these grounds for doubt are, but I would imagine this is skeptical doubt, all the things that are listed in skeptical, the skeptical doubt, and there's views of self, various views of self, and things that can't be proven, like I said, this, how the earth came into being, or how the cosmos came into being, and is there an eternal self, or is there self annihilated, and these kind of things that the people would argue about. And so applying ourselves to that, the wrong way to carelessly, this brings up doubt. But careful attention, yoniso manasikara, denourishes or takes the fuel away from doubt. So that overcomes doubt, and we apply our mind or tend carefully to wholesome or unwholesome qualities of mind. So there is a list of things that we pay closely attention to. And it talks about Bhante Sujata as skillful or unskillful. I translated it as wholesome or unwholesome, kusala, akusala. And there's like, it's a sets of negative, like harmful and beneficial and dark and light, whatever that means, states of mind. So we pay careful attention, or we rational attention is, I think that's how Bhante Siddhartha says. Frequent rational application of mind to them, to these qualities. Tata yoniso manasikara bahulikaro, that starts the arising of doubt. Or when it has arisen, starts its increase and growth. So if we're doubting for some reason, we might even say, oh, this is doubt. This is an unwholesome state of mind. and attend to it wisely. Oh, is this helpful? Is this helping me now? Is it disturbing me? How do I approach this doubt? Just investigating the doubt itself starts it. Or the unwholesome qualities that are coming up because of the doubt. The mind may be and then maybe the darkness of the mind means it's dull and not seeing clearly. On the other hand, we want to nourish sada. So what is it that nourishes this confidence or faith? And one of the suttas I love is the sutta is it's in the Anguttara Nikaya, and it talks about it's a Vijja sutta. It talks about ignorance, and sada appears in this asada, the lack of confidence is one of the things that fuels ignorance. So what is fueling sada in this? I'll get to the list, but is associating with good people, those who are well versed in Dhamma, and hearing the Dhamma frequently taught. Sada or faith gives rise to careful attention in this list. And so that's the Yoniso Manasikara. And doubt is among the 5 hindrances that are the nutriment for ignorance. So in this sutta, it talks about what is nourishing ignorance and what is nourishing true knowledge and liberation. So it has this 2 lists of opposing factors, one supporting ignorance and one is supporting knowledge and liberation. And so it starts with a list that supports ignorance, but I'm going to jump to the knowledge and liberation. But first I'm going to read the introduction to the sutta. I'm not going to read the whole sutta. I'm just getting extracts. So hopefully this is making sense and going along. So this is for those who love to look things up online or in the, this is a AN 1061 Vijja Sutta, and this is Bhante Sujato's introduction. Mendicants, it is said, no first point of ignorance is evident, before which there was no ignorance, and afterwards it came to be. And yet, it is evident that there is a specific condition for ignorance, and that's the 5 hindrances. And then doubt is one of those hindrances. It's in there. So, and the reason why I chose this list is because sada is in the list of the proactive list. So this is the nourishment or fuel for true knowledge and liberation. So, thus associating with good persons, becoming full fills up hearing the good Dhamma. So if you're associating with good persons, then you should be, it is said that you should be able to hear the good Dhamma. And then hearing the good Dhamma, becoming full, fills up faith. So this is the sada. Then faith becoming full fills up careful attention. So this is Bhante's Bodhi's translation. So I'm sorry to switch from one to another. So this is the Yoniso Manasikara, how he translates. Bhante Bodhi translates Yoniso Manasikara. Careful attention becoming full fills up mindfulness and clear comprehension. Mindfulness and clear comprehension becoming full fills up restraint of the sense faculties. Restraint of the sense faculties becoming full fills up 3 kinds of good conduct. That's a conduct through body, speech, and mind. So this is interesting. The 3 kinds of good conduct becoming full fill up the 4 establishments of mindfulness. The 4 establishments of mindfulness becoming full fill up the 7 factors of enlightenment. So here we have the Bojjhangas. The 7 factors of enlightenment becoming fulfill up true knowledge and liberation. So in this pairs of opposites, the 7 factors of enlightenment or awakening factors, the opposite to them is the hindrances, the 5 hindrances. These oppose one another, and this is the fuel for ignorance. Thus, there is a nutriment for true knowledge and liberation. So the 7 factors of awakening, becoming full, fill up true knowledge and liberation. So this is as opposed to ignorance. So there's a 2. I'm not reading the whole sutta because it's quite long. It goes backwards and forwards. But I'm just trying to show how this doubt is in the hindrances, and it supports ignorance, and the sada is in this list that supports true knowledge and liberation. So this just shows how these, they're not exactly in the sequence, not exactly across from one another, but yeah, I think you're I hope you're getting what I'm trying to get across here. So this is showing another way of showing how important the development of the sada, the confidence, that's coming from developing the understanding, but then that leading to the complete wisdom factor, knowledge, this true knowledge, and that leads to liberation. So, excuse me. Let me do a little more reading from the suttas. These are both dealing with the spiritual faculties or the controlling faculties, the panchendriyas, and showing how faith is important to develop and how it's developed also. And this is in the Samyutta Nikaya again, and it's in the Indriya Samyutta, surprise, surprise. It's SN 48.50, Apana Sutta, it's at Apana. And it's a conversation with the Lord Buddha and Sariputta. And this is an extract. So the Lord Buddha has asked the Venerable Sariputta if someone who's devoted to the realized one would have no doubt or uncertainty about the realized one or his instructions, about the Buddha or the Dhamma. Would they have any doubt? So then this is Venerable Sariputta's response to that question. Sir, a noble disciple who is sure and devoted to the realized one, would have no doubt or uncertainty about the realized one or his instructions. You can expect that a faithful noble disciple will live with energy aroused up for the giving up of unskillful qualities and the embracing of skillful qualities. They're strong, staunchly vigorous, not slacking off when it comes to developing skillful qualities, for their energy is the faculty of energy. You can expect that a faithful and energetic noble disciple will be mindful with the utmost mindfulness and alertness, able to remember and recall what was said and done long ago, for their mindfulness is the faculty of mindfulness. You can expect that a faithful, energetic, and mindful noble disciple will, relying on letting go, gain immersion. This is Bhante Sujata's translation for samadhi. Gain unification of mind, for their samadhi is the faculty of immersion. You can expect that a faithful, energetic, mindful, noble disciple with their mind immersed in samadhi will understand this. Transmigration has no known beginning. No first point is found of sentient beings roaming and transmigrating, shrouded by ignorance and fettered by craving. But when that dark mass of ignorance fades away and ceases with nothing left over, that state is peaceful and sublime. That is the stilling of all activities, the letting go of all attachments, the ending of craving, fading away, cessation, extinguishment. This is Nibbana. For their noble wisdom is the faculty of wisdom. When a noble disciple has tried again and again, recollected again and again, entered immersion again and again, and understood with wisdom again and again, they will be confident of this. I have previously heard of these things, but now I have direct meditative experience of them and see them with penetrating wisdom, for their faith is the faculty of faith. So this is quite beautiful. It just shows how how faith is developed. It's like it's going in this full circle. Starting out with the confidence in the Buddha and his teaching, and then developing it with the other faculties. So I have another extract, which is a little shorter than this previous sutta. And this is also from the Indriya Samyutta. This is 48.44 at the Eastern Gate. And again, it's Venerable Sariputta speaking with the Lord Buddha. And he's asking the Lord Buddha, again questioning the Venerable Sariputta. He's asking him about the five indriyas, the five spiritual faculties, and if they're developed and cultivated, will they end in freedom from death, is what Bhante Sujata, how he translates the deathless, or another epithet for the Nibbana. I don't have the Pali in front of me, so it's something Amara, something like that. I also wouldn't know. So this is the extract in response to the Buddha's questioning the Venerable Sariputta. There are those who have not known or seen or understood or realized or experienced this with wisdom. They may rely on faith in this matter, but there are those who have known, seen, understood, realized, and experienced this with wisdom. They have no doubts or uncertainties in this matter. I have seen, heard, understood, realized, and experienced this with wisdom. I have no doubts or uncertainties that the faculties of faith, energy, mindfulness, immersion, and wisdom, when developed and cultivated, finish at end in freedom from death. To culminate in the deathless. Want to see Jaka would argue with that translation. I think. Freedom from death. So this, I'm going to end with the qualities of the Sotapanna. And this is where Sada appears again, as well as the 5 spiritual faculties. And this is surprisingly in the Sotapanna, the Sotapati Samyutta. So this is SN 5544. Mendicants, a noble disciple who has 4 things, is a stream enterer, not liable to be reborn in the underworld, bound for awakening. What for? It's when a noble disciple has experiential confidence in the Buddha, the teaching, the Sangha, so the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. And they have the ethical conduct loved by the noble ones, leading to immersion. A noble disciple who has who has these 4 things is a stream enterer, not liable to be reborn in the underworld, bound for awakening. That is what the Buddha said. Then the Holy One, the teacher, went on to say, those who have faith and ethics, confidence and vision of the truth, in time arrive at happiness, the culmination of the spiritual life. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So offer this for your reflection, and you can open it up at this point for questions about what was said, or on this subject of doubt, overcoming doubt. Also, reflecting on the qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha is one of the ways that faith is brought up. And that's a energetic kind of faith that can be roused up. But again, it should be through our experience with really working at understanding the teaching and really applying the teaching. And just, for me, it's also it's amazing when I read the suttas, how the Buddha is speaking to us, even in this era. I mean, human beings haven't changed that much. I mean, we've got all this technology and stuff, but we're still kind of ruled by greed, hate, and delusion that is causing us enormous problems still. So, yeah, reflecting on how wise the Lord Buddha was, how he could be able to be teaching something that's still relevant today. Things like that. So maybe it can encourage people to talk about maybe their own experience of what maybe have brought up sada, brought up the confidence in themselves, or helped overcome some doubting matter about some of the teaching, or something on this line would be good. Instead of like an intellectual exercise, but getting into like what the heart, that's just what sada is, how it balances out the wisdom faculty. It's because it's more from the heart, more from kind of instinctive and related to our feeling, and the feeling of joy that comes up from this being exposed to the teaching, applying the teaching to our lives. So I just like to encourage that kind of line of maybe sharing, or some question too in that regard, but we're kind of more from the heart than well, we can have a balance of the wisdom faculty and the heart faculty, but this is what I'm just trying to encourage now.
Sheila has a hand up.
Okay, yes, please, Sheila.
You know, as you were just speaking and you were talking about sada and joy, is sadhu a root of sada or similar in terms of derivation because of the joy or the appreciation of that I believe the word sadhu means. Thank you.
That's a beautiful observation. I never thought of that. I don't know. I'm going to look at Ayya Suvijjana, who's a Pali scholar. And do you agree with that? That the sadhu comes from sada? That there's some related. It comes from the same root.
Give me 1 minute.
Oh,
I'll come back in a minute.
She says she's going to look it up. I think she says, give us a minute. But yeah, so certainly it's related, because we hear a teaching, and then the response is saying sadhu, excellent. This is how it's often translated, or well done, or something like that. But it's certainly a emotional response to, or yeah, and then I guess people are called sadhus too. Some monastics are called sadhus, but and yeah, so it's kind of that's a good question.
Thank you.
Ayya Suvijjana will be
It's not the same root.
it doesn't have the same root.
Sadhu is based on the root sad, which means good. And sadha is, the root is dha.
There's different roots, but
But nevertheless, it's good to think of.
it's a nice coincidence.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, so we can, when we're showing our sada, we can say sadhu. Yeah, definitely, thank you. So do you have something to say here? I said when I have something to say. You want the camera?
I appreciate everybody for supporting me during my 3 weeks of silent personal retreat. And the thing that I've been reflecting about this yoni so manasikara in terms of yoni so relating to the womb or the matrix, the cradle of awakening. And one way that matrix is like you could say like the nature of reality or something, that when our radical awareness really goes right down to the basis of the nature of reality which we can experience. But then in another way, the matrix is what is the place where growth is able to happen. And so then the teachings are the cradle for the evolution of wisdom. So even though I don't see that as a list of the quality of the stream winner, I'm thinking that constant gratitude for the Buddha Sangha, unceasing gratitude and appreciation for this teaching, which is provides that cradle, that basis where it's possible for wisdom to emerge. That's my thought about that.
That's really beautiful when you were speaking it. I mean, this because of the sada from in that list for Yoniso Masikara arises from the sada, so that there's this safe, the cradle. It's the cradle within the cradle, because we have that safety, that confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and that's nurturing that matrix. And so then there's that. Yeah, I think the gratitude and sada would be working together. They would, if you have a lot of confidence, you'd also be grateful. I would think these would go. I can't imagine that you wouldn't have it. So there's some hands up, I see. And I don't know the name of one person.
Yeah, Macy.
Pardon me?
Yeah, Macy and then Anna.
Macy?
Yeah.
Okay, so we could start with Macy and then Anna.
Hi, Ayya. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I just want to ask, what is the relation to devotion and faith?
The relation to the two. Oh, they would.
The relationship.
Yeah, when I was looking up sada, that's one of the things that was mentioned in conjunction with the devotion. Will you have a sense of devotion to something? If you have confidence in the Dhamma, for instance, then you would devote yourself to the practice of the Dhamma. If you have a devotion to a teacher, you would serve that teacher because you have confidence in that teacher. You would be devoted to supporting them. And then you'd have the opportunity to continue learning from them because for one thing, they would continue to exist. If the teacher doesn't have any kind of support, they might just disappear from the face of the earth, or they might just go into obscurity because no one is interested in them. But somebody coming and listening to a teacher nourishes that teacher, actually. And but we nourish ourselves by investigating. Also, we're blessed to have so much that's available in print or online too, so we can devote ourselves to pursuing the Dhamma through written word, but also through hearing it. And so the devotion and faith do go hand in hand. Does that make sense?
Because I contemplated this before, I thought that faith has to do with like a sense of like confidence that the path works, and then devotion is like more heart-based, like there's more softening than that confidence. So I thought that devotion is like devotion to the deathless, something that is unconditioned. So that's what keeps me going. So I interpreted it that way because because I have difficulty having that kind of devotion for like teachers, because I went to the Tibetan Buddhist tradition before, so they have all this guru yoga, which I found very difficult for me.
I see.
But I know that they are trying to cultivate devotion, not necessarily to the person, but just that quality. So that's why I was wondering why it's quite seldom mentioned in the Theravada tradition. So.
I think, yeah, it's there. And this is devotion it really is a heart, just like the faith comes from the heart, and devotion can appear in different ways. But if you're devoted like you're devoted to the teaching, that means that you would be continuously pursuing the teaching in whatever way. I mean, you could be devoted to a concept like of Buddhism, and then you're bringing flowers and lighting incense, and maybe you might be doing acts of generosity, and that's something really from the heart too. And that's really, it's relinquishing, letting go when you're being generous. So it's you're actually cultivating musaga, but really deep letting go eventually. So a devotion could take a lot of forms. But I think what you're talking about, if you're devoted to Nibbana, then you're devoted to doing ways to cultivate the mind to be released, to be free. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. Because I find that devotion is like the last part of something that cultivating to realize that there is something beyond the condition that is there. So that requires faith, and also and only later part, I felt that devotion is quite important as well. So I just wanted to ask. Thank you.
Yeah, if you see devotion as just really committing yourself fully, you're just really putting yourself fully into something, or caring for something, it's yourself in a particular way, or others, or to the teaching, then I think that's maybe in line with what you're talking about.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So Ananaya, is a virtual hand? Hello.
Well, what I had to say, or have to say, is very related to what Maisie's question and what you've just discussed. But for myself, having faith, or the development of faith, it comes from direct experience. In other words, being introduced to the Dhamma, and then finding that it resonated very deeply, and over a period of years, then seeing more and more evidence that what the Buddha has written is true, what his directions that he's given are correct, that they do work. And whether I personally have experienced everything, which of course I haven't, I'm not an arahant, but having evidence of seeing the people along the path, teachers, whether they were lay teachers or monastic teachers, and seeing their fine examples of how they live their lives and their devotion to the Dhamma and to the Buddha's teaching. So their commitment, which is shown, the outward demonstration of that can be seen in when we're bowing to the Buddha, or if we're bowing as lay people to the teachers, to the monastics, to the Buddha Rupas, and that whole piece. And then as for myself, again, one of the biggest things I think that just really sticks in my mind when I've done something which was really unskillful, and rather than doing my best not to commit further unskillfulness by beating myself up, but wanting to move past that and get in a positive frame, is remembering Angulimala, that the Buddha said that there's nothing you can do that is not and not forgivable when you turn to the truth. When you are in line with the Dhamma and you give yourself to the Dhamma, whatever has been done is so long as you make a commitment to obviously not to do it again. This isn't like a continuous sort of a thing, but the aspiration, and of course, as faith deepens, you have more inner strength to go beyond those unskillful elements, and one does develop a deeper sense of things, and that leads to more faith and more devotion. So offer that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's such a wonderful example of how the sada and the panya are working together and reinforcing one another through your own direct experience, to be experienced individually by the wise, to be our own direct experience. So is it time? Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, for your kind attention and for your sharing, those who shared. Your devotion, all of your devotion to the Dhamma. I know there's very avid people are avidly devoted to the Dhamma here. So I appreciate all of you for your kind attention. So we can end with an active sada, active devotion. And if you have a Buddha Rupa in your own environment, you can bow in that direction, or you can bow towards the one on our screen here. Araham Samma Sambuddho Bhagavan Buddham Bhagavantam Abhivadami Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangham Namami.
Thank you, Ayya.
Thank you, Ayya.